I'm here to answer one of the greatest questions that has bestowed humankind since its inception. Not why is the sky blue, or how was Stonehenge made, or why are we even here, but the ultimate question of, should you play Go Battle League day one of the new season? Luckily for you, I may in fact have an answer for you by the end of this video. By the time this video is posted, it's going to be someone's birthday that's very special to me in my life. So I would appreciate if you as the viewer were willing to just write happy birthday in the comments. Thank you very much, and let's just jump into it. All right, so we're gonna just jump right into this. I'm showing you my very first two sets of Go Battle League Season 18. Oh my goodness gracious, what is this? So usually when I start a new season, I like to play very spicy because, as we all know, as the season progresses, this becomes a try-hard fest of art, rock, paper, scissors. And I decided to run Runary. I wanted to try out the Furfrou, okay? So I tried to build a team around Furfrou, and my opponent here is running Venusaur, which I don't know if they just didn't have Frenzy Plant, and that's why they threw the Sludge Bomb there, or if they're just BMing me out the gates. Like, this guy was just like, I'll show you. But, yeah, so the video, what am I trying to get across here with this video? Should you play Go Battle League day one of the season? And the reason why I ask this is because there's a lot of speculation on all the tryhards play day one, and obviously your matchmaking will be determined by your MMR, your ELO. But when you're at the very start of the season, what are you to expect when you're playing your battles? There's a lot of people who I know personally who prefer to hold off on their first initial battles until like a week or so down the line because it weeds out all the other tryhards. But honestly, from my personal experience, especially like in this video, so you'll see like that very first battle, really hard to know. Like, that person was running some spice too, but the season's so early, it's still a little hard to truly know what's going on. Here I should not have bait at all. I should have just thrown the Shadow Ball. A little bit of a misplay on my end, because one thing I've noticed is, at least like running Runerigus, this might be the case. Like Pokemon that typically have like a debuff move, like Acid Spray, Sand Tomb, a lot of times it's kind of just better not to bait, because there's so many little situations, like even right there, really unnecessary for me to throw that the way I did. But yeah, the accumulation of like these few little plays are going to be enough for me to kind of like throw this match, because even with that defense drop, the Zap Cannon's not going to be enough to really do enough damage for Farm Down or Registeel here. And yeah, this is a case of, we didn't have like the best lead here, but it doesn't mean that we couldn't have done anything differently to try to sway the match more in our favor. And to be fair, Trevenant actually is really bad for this team. There's a couple Pokemon that when I built this team, I was like, I doubt I'll see that. I mean, Trevenant, I had a feeling I might see it, but second match of the season, I saw Trevenant, I'm like, okay, well, hopefully that's not a trend. But I mean, Trevenant is a good pick. I'm not like gonna act like I'm that surprised seeing it here. But Furfrou coming in, trying to do its best here in the end, but unfortunately it's just not gonna be able to cut it, because we're gonna get farmed down here. And yeah, Poliwrath pretty much can just counter down the rest of the match. GG's. But so what I'm trying to say is this first set will be a good, I mean, to be fair, everyone's gonna have a completely different experience depending on who you're playing and all that, but yeah, like this first set is all over the place, between spice, somewhat meta, to something like this where I don't actually know what my opponent was trying to do. Like, they didn't throw one move. I mean, granted, Hariyama, if I remember correctly, doesn't really have much of anything to hit Rodriguez. I think it has like Heavy Slam and like fighting coverage. But yeah, this player essentially, like, it's like I got beat in my second match by good plays by my opponent, making good calls, and then I get a match like this where I didn't even like really do anything. I feel like it just kind of happened. And same situation here, where early season of Go Battle League is just a wild card. And I guess to answer the question a little bit, I actually do think there is something warranted to waiting for a while and then trying to play. Like if you're trying to play if you're trying to get the legend in the least amount of battles that you possibly can, then it's probably better to wait for the meta to kind of pan out a little bit and then figure out how to master that meta and play it. Like don't try to deviate too much from what already works. Just master it, get good at your counts, get good at your energy preservation, your sack swaps, and you should be good to go. But like, something about playing early season day one is just such a wild card about what you're going to see. I mean, granted, you could see these same type of teams even if you waited a week or so. But is there a right or wrong way to approach playing Go Battle League? I mean, I don't know. Like personally, this is some of the most exciting times to play Go Battle League. I have the most fun at the beginning of the season. I mean, granted, I'm kind of just rolling with this team, hoping for the best. And yeah, we get a Quagsire here, which I assume do not run Aqua Jet anymore, which seems to be the case. So actually not the worst matchup here for Runerigus, but in comes Skarmory, and I decide I'm just going to let Runerigus go here against the Skarm because there really is no reason to switch out when I have Registeel here in the back line, which can in fact have some really nice, you know, alignment for the rest of this match. So they go for Brave Bird, and I decide to opt out and just go for a straight farm down, knowing that really getting hit by another Brave Bird is not going to matter to me at all. And whatever they have in the back is just going to have to deal with Registeel. So they do end up having Nidoqueen, which, ooh, I mean, okay, Clodsire, excuse me. I saw the typing, it's Clodsire. But this is a perfect opportunity for Furfrou to shine. So Furfrou, I haven't talked much about it just yet in this battle. I mean, this is not a video just completely showcasing Furfrou, but it is actually usable now, which is crazy. Sand Attack has made this Pokemon completely usable when it before was just, I don't know, you would never run it. I mean, maybe you'd see someone running it early in the season. Ironically, I'm running it early in the season, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything aside. I'm just testing it out. Anyways, I'm getting all over the place here. Furfrou is really interesting as a Pokemon purely because it's a normal type. It has water, grass coverage. The main thing that walls Furfrou is grass types that I've noticed. And this team in general, there's certain grass types where it completely struggles with, which I realized after doing these battles was probably not the smartest thing for me to be doing, because straight up, I could have, like, most people are probably going to be running grass types, seeing how the meta shifted slightly to water. But yeah, in comes the Sableye, and actually a pretty good situation for me here. But I'm trying to remember, do I play this out correctly? So in comes the Annihilate, which is really scary for my team. Honestly, there's a couple Pokemon that are extremely scary for this line of 3. I probably would switch this up if I wanted to try to run Furfrou again in the future. I mainly ran Runerigus because I felt like, oh, it's kind of fun. You know, it's a very niche Pokemon, but it does tend to get walled pretty hard by certain things. Actually, I think I end up just dropping the ball here in this match, just barely, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because the Registeel comes in. Oh, okay. So here, I don't know. This match, I feel like my opponent could have won this if they would have like if we both would have gone for the Focus Blast. You know, they could have not shielded and just brought in Annihilate and farm down and pretty much like Shadow Balled me. But I don't know if they rage quit here, thinking that like maybe they weren't going to be able to win, or they had a connection issue. But that's another reason, like maybe playing early in the season is good because people can't play the game correctly because the game can't handle you playing the game correctly. So that was kind of a free win, but I do feel like they should have won that match. I mean, they had a really nice shield advantage situation there with the Registeel and the Annihilate still. So in this next match, we do get Quagsire. Like, granted, this is not going to be the most analytical video on this team or like what to do in Go Battle League. It's more like a thought piece of how crazy and wild is Go Battle League at the beginning of the season. Also, this is sick watching Furfrou take down this Skeledirge. I was thinking I could actually just take that to the face, But interesting enough, not everyone's really going to know what Furfrou is packing, and I just one-shot the Quagsire with a Grass Knot, which is actually really nice. And yeah, at this point, I don't even switch out. I just figured it doesn't really matter. I could have just insta-swapped into Registeel here and preserved my Furfrou, but it doesn't really matter. You know, I'm just going to do the BM here and just try to play out the match. And yeah, so pretty much this is game. I don't know why there's... I mean, some people are going to play it out to the end regardless. You know, you never know. It's... You can believe. But yeah, there really is nothing this like Skarmory could do in this situation. Like, there's absolutely nothing. Especially with the attack drop. Like, that's brutal. I mean, in some situations, Skarmory could probably Brave Bird a couple times and it could, like, flip the matchup. But not really in that situation. So in this battle... we do get a Marowak lead and a Melodic safe swap. So I decided to just switch in the Reggie, and I think I build up max energy before I throw a Zap Cannon. I mean, granted, every single team we face is so... there's such variety here. So these first couple sets are just off the charts with spice and people trying out different strategies as the new season starts. And yeah, that's the one thing, like, as a player that typically enjoys playing Spice even throughout the season when the climb is a lot more difficult, it's really fun to explore new Pokemon at this point, because you get such a variety between people who are tryhards and people who are just lobbying maybe for the first time to see like what Go Battle League is all about. So, you know, you're not always rewarded for your skill necessarily this early in the season, but yeah, it's probably one of the more therapeutically enjoyable aspects of playing Go Battle League is starting off the season fresh, testing out some of the new Pokemon that got buffed, seeing some of the new moves and abilities that are available. I mean, not abilities, what am I saying? This is not BGC. But yeah, new moves that have, oh my gosh, this battle is a nightmare. This Grovyle, as someone who has a Grovyle built for Great League, this person like straight up, oh my gosh, and I don't even think it's not even a maxed out Grovyle. I just realized this Grovyle, oh my gosh, yo, I get destroyed by this Grovyle. Like, I was thinking about this after the fact where it was like, should I have just stayed in with Runerigus and tried to trade a shield and just take damage? But I legitimately, like, the thing is, like, I have Registeel, right? Like, I'm not going to switch directly to Registeel to align this. But, like, yeah, I mean, I think based on what they even have in the back line, I should have just sacrificed Runerigus here. Because they have a Lapras. I don't want to reveal the third yet, but I do end up losing this match. And I think the reason why I thought if I would have like stayed in, like, obviously it's easy to look at the match after the fact and be like, oh, I should have just stayed in with Runerigus. It's just like I don't have a much of a, like, it's tough because in the moment you have to make a decision sometimes when you're playing Go Battle League. It's sometimes better and more optimal. Like if you have like a ABA line, for example, like you lose the lead but you don't actually have a direct safe swap, sometimes it's better to sacrifice your lead and get alignment with the correct counter. So in this match, it might have been better for me to just let Runerigus die to the Grovyle, like try to do as much as I could, and then bring in Registeel, have that alignment. Then it's Registeel versus Licky Licky and Lapras. And I'd also have Furfrou, which usually Licky Licky is like a, you know, has a ghost type move, and that one had Shadow Ball. So Furfrou could have maybe done some work there, and also against the Lapras, we had Grass Knot on Furfrou and Zap. You know what I mean? We had play, but probably better to just sacrifice Runerigus in that situation. I mean, I just kind of panicked. I saw the grass type, and that just wasn't good. So this is a situation where we end up getting the Dunsparce. And honestly, this Pokemon runs havoc on this team as well. So I decided to stay in, and you know, honestly, it probably would have been better to switch out the Furfrou in this matchup. Like, I was thinking, you know, we resist all of its attacks, right? But the issue here is more the sense that, like, I have no way to really do damage back as well, other than Sand Tomb. Like, not even Shadow Claw is a great way to deal damage against a normal type. So, unfortunately, this puts me in a pickle, and, you know, we do have a decent matchup against the Skeledirge here and Furfrou, but they did get a little bit of energy gain as well, and at this point, it's pretty much just not looking good, because I don't know if it would have benefited me to switch out the Furfrou. I can't remember what the third Pokemon was on this team. Let's see. I mean, I go for the Focus Blast. We'll just see what the last Pokemon is. I don't even know if we actually see it. I can't remember. But yeah, like this match, yeah, I don't think I make it. It just dies to the Dunsparce. So yeah, Dunsparce, I feel like because I had no real way to deal damage and the drill runs were doing more damage. I mean, that was going to be tough regardless. But yeah, probably should have switched to Furfrou as my best chance to try to do anything in that fight. So to answer the question, should you play day one of Go Battle League? Honestly, if you're a tryhard and you're trying to hit Legend, maybe playing as often as you can is your best path to victory. But I would also recommend that if you're very strategic, I've done this in the past too, where I've like hit Legend in less than 400 battles because I planned it out. I didn't play every format. I only played ones I was comfortable with and had a good understanding of the meta that was currently developed. I would say, yes, there's something warranted to putting off Go Battle League and also playing day one. But if you're someone that is just playing for fun and you aren't even, maybe your dream is to hit Legend, but it's not necessarily happened yet, I would say it's probably more important for you to get in the experience and play from day one and just play through. I mean, granted, the first few days of you playing Go Battle League are going to build up your ELO and your MMR to a point where what you just saw here today, like these people who are disconnecting and bringing Pokemon that aren't even maxed out or meant for PvP necessarily, that's not always going to be the case. Like the more you play and win, you're going to start facing people of similar skill value, and it's going to become pretty much a difficult climb from there. And I mean, regardless, it's going to be difficult whether you want it to be or not. It's just how Go Battle League has developed over all the seasons. So yeah, I mean, hopefully this was a little informative, or at least you enjoyed some of these spicy battles for the beginning of the season. And thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe. It does help my content out a lot on the platform. And with that being said, the Sass Squad's getting stronger each and every day. You have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you're tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.